To say that the biggest impact these teachings have had on me was that you didn't hold back on the challenges and the problems that are faced by both the Messianic side of the family and the Gentile side of the family. The thing that I learned and impacted me the most was you're constantly bringing us back to the Father's heart. And how the Father feels. And I remind myself all the time that you talk about patience, that it takes a lot of patience in dealing with the church. And it does. It takes an awful lot of patience. And I have to say, in the beginning of your teaching, I was like beyond the end of my rope. And so the teachings kind of breathe new life into me as far as wanting to finish this aspect of my own personal race, and wanting to impact the church when I had just felt like it was a lost cause and felt like, I needed to give up. Especially since a lot of my past had to do with my knowledge of the Holocaust from a child and being very impacted by that. And then all of the stuff that happened on October 7th brought that to the forefront again, and feeling that it was just, kind of a lost cause, that the church and the Messianic Jewish people would be that one new man. But like you remind us, God always gets what he prays for. And so we have to just commit ourselves to the process, even though it's long, it's tenuous, it seems impossible at times, but we know that God is going to have our way. And it's like you say, patience and love. And those are the things that, out of my own personal pain, I was stressed beyond having patience and love. And so now the teaching with the focus on John 17 and the Father's heart. I guess I never really even thought about, how does God feel about his family? How does he feel about this? And realizing that God has been really grieved by what's gone on in the church, and in the greater sense in the world, that God's heart is really grieved by it. And I can put that aside, knowing that God is just and he will deal with everything in the time that he chooses, and that I am just like a cog in a wheel, and I am there to do my part to see that God gets what he wants, even if it's imperfect. I'm there to do the work that God has called me to do.
That's great, Chris. Think about it for a moment, but you've just really described the patience that the Father actually has for us to come to him. Think of how he waited for each of us in our own lives and our own journey. And there's something significant about this place of patience and waiting, that is all about creating deeper love in us. And so it does something in us to, not to be critical, not to judge. And because that's Yeshua. That's how he loves us. I mean, so it's another facet for those of us who are carrying this burden and carrying this message. It's another facet and dimension of the Father's heart and Yeshua's heart cry, for us, and his patience in our and with our humanity.